Welcome to the Quick Stop F1 podcast. My name is Nyasha, and you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. We appreciate that. Joining me today, is it a Saturday? Is it a Monday? We don't even know, but what I do know is I'm joined here by the Queen of Saturdays off the back of an incredible performance with her and Cam. If you've not watched that, welcome to the show. Welcome to my show.
Right.
Queen of Saturdays. It's Tasha James.
So happy to be here. Thank you.
No, look, you're always welcome. Always welcome on my show.
Right.
You see? Do you know what I mean? I don't have to always come on yours. You can come on mine.
Right,
it's okay.
right.
Like, do you know what I mean? How are you doing? How's it going?
Oh, man, it's good. I mean, it's Monday. We're hanging in there. Yeah.
Hanging in there. We are.
Literally,
we are.
that cat, poster, hanging in there.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Look, as people may or may not be aware, committed my whole weekend to the power of manifestation. And I was like, I am praying so hard for Arsenal to win the league. I've prayed to like 3 different gods. I signed up to a couple new religions. Using like a free, when they give you like first 3 months for free,
right?
I thought like that would include like a manifestation code. Do you know what I mean? Like manifest 10.
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean? I got an email from like a manifest clothing brand, like, bitch, you want to manifest your future? 10% off.
Good vibes only, 15.
Put this manifestation in your card right now.
Right.
And it did not happen. It did not happen. In fact, the dreams were crushed within 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So I've deleted all of my free trials. I've cancelled all of them. I will not be charged next month. And so
I didn't want to bring that up. I really didn't want to. I was like, how are you today? And I didn't really want to bring up what happened over the weekend. I'm sorry.
That's the first time I've cried about something that is not life since Tony Stark died in Avengers.
Yo, that was pretty emotional, yeah.
Mate,
shed a tear, not gonna lie.
I was ugly crying in the cinema.
I was like, damn, it's 10 years. 10 years. They had me in their balling, yeah.
No, I was pulling my shit out in that cinema. Oh my God. But no, look, but I'm here today. Tandy sends her regards. She's got caught up with work. So Tandy, I'm sorry, there's no Tandy, but she will be back for the Monaco Grand Prix. Before I get started, make sure, subscribe to this video. Thank you, and hello to all of our new subscribers as well from the last video. We super appreciate you. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure to leave a 5-star rating. If you're listening on Apple, leave us a review. Really helps with the algorithm. And if you want to support the channel, you can get an ad-free stream on our Patreon. Tasha James. The Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, I can't remember, I know there's Come See Italy, Emilia Romagna Grand Prix or something in there.
It's 16 different words.
Yeah. It's honestly, thoughts, I guess, overall on the weekend. We came from, the high of Miami, and I do remember listening to your Saturday pod. There was this air of anticipation about Imola. McLaren had obviously got the upgrades on Oscar's car. Red Bull were looking weak in practice. And then that dream was crushed in qualifying. And then obviously we had a race where relatively comfortable up until the last 10 laps or so. But I guess, how did you find the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix?
I'm not even going to lie. I definitely was ready to fall asleep within the first 3 laps. It just, you know what I mean? Nothing really happened. No turn 1 incident. No, nothing. So it definitely had that, okay, this is going to be a long journey. 63 laps of nothing. Well, not entirely, but it wasn't. I definitely felt like it was just a bit of a snooze fest up until obviously the last 10 or so laps. We got a little bit of a of a car chase, but
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's bad when you're watching the first lap and you're like, oh, is someone going to crash it? No one
I was
crashes.
praying, yeah.
Like, they all went through that tight chicane in an orderly fashion. I saw Lewis get up to the back of, I think it might have been George, get up to the back of someone. I was like, oh, George, you want to do that? And he didn't do anything.
Nothing. Not even K-Mag. K-Mag was on his best behavior.
Yeah.
2 points from a race ban will do that to a guy, apparently.
Yeah,
but,
finally. Keys have found his brakes. Right. Finally. The excitement levels weren't as much, but that's the thing. I don't want to get into the cricket analogy again for all of the people who don't even watch cricket, but F1 is a long game sport. Mm-hmm. It is not about bish, bash, bosh all of the time. You don't always get super excitement. There are times when you are playing the long game. We're looking at strategy. And therefore, we get the type of race we get. But we do get some excitement towards the end. And I guess, let me ask you a question. I leave the channel for a day and there's a discussion. I know Cam was going to bring it up. Of course, Cam's going to bring it up. Coming on my channel, Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
How do I put this? I did find myself, oddly, having a strange sense of respect for Max for this race win.
Yeah.
Because clearly that car is not where they want it to be. And
right.
I was watching Ted's Notebook and, Red Bull was saying essentially, I think Buemi, who's their sim guy, did some work overnight. You know how they used to have Mick Schumacher in the sim. What is he doing these days? Get this guy. Anyway.
Endurance racing for Alpine. Yep.
I just like...
Yeah, he's on his own little side mission.
Why are you here? Well, anyway, that's neither here nor there. Great jeans. He has a great bootcut jean collection. But Buemi, they've sorted out the balance between Friday and Saturday, and that's what enabled him. And look, he took pole by fractions of a second.
Right.
And at that point, you have to say that it's skill over car, right? Obviously, the car helps, but it's a little bit of skill. We've seen, Piastri make a mistake in his last couple of corners, which probably cost him pole. We've seen Norris not being able to hook up that lap. So, I had the level of respect for him, similar to how he took pole in Monaco, and I was just like, how has he pulled that one out? We get to the race, he's cruising off, and that respect kind of dwindles again. Oh, this car's just, a miles ahead. But then again, we have that period towards the end where the tyres have gone, he's having to hold on, he has to drive perfectly. Yeah. And you know what? Fair play to him. And I think that, for me, I remember you saying on Saturday, we just want to see someone take the fight to him. And I think people confuse us saying, oh, we don't, we want some more close competition up front. Right now, my driver's not winning a race anytime soon.
Yeah.
Right? It's not.
It's gonna be a while.
You know what? It's been a minute. Let me just.
It's gonna be a while, yeah.
Time slipping away from me. I just want to see some close racing up front. So I guess for you, as one of the head members of Team LH, how did you judge Max's performance this weekend, I guess? And I guess, do you feel the same, or do you still reserve? I'm trying to make a balanced product.
Listen. Why do people think I'm not balanced?
No.
One fan.
No.
I mean, to your point, I definitely agree. Max showed a level of experience and skill that I think like I feel like I've come to expect over the past few seasons. Like again, I think that's his edge in a lot of these situations that he's in, where maybe there is a bit of pressure and he's able to keep himself composed. Like you hear his engineer telling him like all the things going on with the car, that he's having to do a lot of stuff to like just keep it on the track because it's really difficult to steer. And of course, it's at the track where they've got gravel pits and, gravel traps and stuff. So, it is a bit perilous. So, yeah, for him to be able to keep the lead, and honestly, I mean, Lando wasn't that far behind him. I think less than a second separated them at the last lap. So, yeah, for me, that's all I've been asking for. Like, some peril, some, like uncertainty. I mean, even like Lando, he's chasing Max, but he's making a lot of mistakes that are costing him like fractions of time that could have been the difference. He might have been able to catch Max sooner, so.
Yeah. I don't disagree. And I think that's the levels, right? That's the levels that we're talking about. And I think, for me, Lando's good. Lando's great. But, maybe he would have been within DRS if some of those tiny mistakes were cut out. However, for what baffled me was for 5, 6, 7, 8ths of this race, Lando Norris is like, I've got no pace in this car. I've got no pace. I'm pushing as hard as I can. I've got nothing. Like, Charles Leclerc's catching him. We're thinking, does Charles have the pace to overtake him? That falls off. I feel like this weekend we really saw, in terms of tyre preservation, who has got a handle on their tyres? Who's got a handle on that? Now sort of protecting their tyres and using their tyres in the correct way when going through traffics, making moves when they have to be decisive. And I think this is a formula at this point in time. I feel like this is a formula where if you don't have that on lock, then you're not going to get the results that maybe your car might have the performance for, but you might not get those results.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and especially in this generation of the tires, because it's the big complaint that they all have, is that they're so inconsistent from compound to compound. You don't know what you're going to get. So, if you don't understand how to finesse them, then, get them to the end, which we saw a couple of people not, be able to do that. So, it was an interesting little exercise in tire management.
Should just get into it. So, Lewis Hamilton finished 6th. George Russell finished 7th. Lewis qualified 8th. George Russell qualified 6th. I want to say. I'm going to read out some of the radio between George and his engineer. And this is when being first asked to make an extra pit stop.
Right.
I don't mind silence then, but we'll do a switch at the end. Or engineer, negative. Ask about update of the car. George, leave it. Why do we box? I don't really get that. Engineer, we're just concerned on getting these tires till the end. Up to you. George, well, I don't want to concede a position for no reason. Silence. And then his engineer just tells him to box before we lose the window to Perez. Okay, shut your mouth. Get in the pit.
Get in here,
The reason I bring this up is this. The rumours of Max Verstappen to Mercedes are not going away. Ted, on his notebook, was very at pains to make sure that he told us that Mercedes, James Allison has obviously said that Mercedes have got the same feeling that they had in 2014 or 2013 about their... 2013, about the turbo hybrid engines as they do about these new 50-50 engines that are coming in for 2026. Obviously, pinch of salt with anything that comes out of Mercedes regarding updates to their car. And obviously, why wouldn't they say that they've got the best engine on the grid, considering that they definitely don't have the best car on the grid at the moment? But that could be amongst all the turmoil that that could be what tempts Verstappen to jump ship, maybe make a
Mm-hmm.
Lewis time move and gamble on a new regulation with a new team. My question to you is this.
Mm-hmm.
Is it an indictment on George that Mercedes, having Hamilton left and having nurtured George, Mercedes are going for a lead drive? Well, if we go for Max Verstappen per se, and I guess the choice is either between Max Verstappen or Kimi Antonelli, I guess. So, we're looking at chalk and cheese, apples and pears. But I don't know. I find performances like this weekend and, where that killer instinct, that edge, some of the things that we've leveled at Lando in the past, in terms of progression in the last 3 years with George Russell, could you say that George Russell has really progressed as a driver in the last 3 years he's been a Mercedes?
No. And this has been my criticism of him since the beginning, which is that he came in very much thinking that he had it all figured out. I mean, he's a very, I think, mature person. He comes across as somebody who's like very like self-confident and, all of these, I think, positive attributes. But I think there's also like a lack of humility. And I think I was excited for him to come from Williams to Mercedes because I'm like, you get to be paired with Lewis Hamilton, right? Like, not that you need to be his like, busboy or whatever, like trying to like, but like you get to see up close, like how he operates, how he gives feedback, like how he just thinks, so like that's only to your benefit if you actually absorb that. But when you go in thinking like, oh, I don't need to learn anything from Lewis Hamilton, like, and then 3 years later, you're basically where you started, right? Like you're like Lando Norris with better PR. I'm sorry. Like at this point, like you're getting away with weekends where you're constantly slower than your almost 40-year-old teammate. Like, even in this race, Lewis was lapping as fast as Sainz at some points and like Verstappen at some points, right? Like, this Mercedes is slow as shit, but Lewis is able to preserve his tires and do what he needs to do. And this, you know what I mean? Like, it's very interesting to me that George cannot make those types of moves that Lewis is able to make during a race. And I think for me, like, that's very much an indictment on his like lack of wanting to learn and put the team first. And like you just read his whole interaction with his engineer. And it's like, if it's a matter of losing 2 places, because Lewis, according to Toto, was going to pass George anyway. So you're going to lose that place to Lewis. And then Perez was right behind them. You would have lost that place to Perez. So you'd basically be willing to lose 2 places just so you can beat your teammate in your head, right? Not in real life. Then just box, get the tires, and then finish the race. You're still going to get 6 and 7 for the team. It's just that you're not 6th place. So yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I find this kind of narrative that I kind of saw in the post race, like, oh, he sacrificed 6th place and
Right.
this, that, and the other. And I'm watching it, I'm like, I've got eyes. I see what's happening. I don't think he sacrificed anything. I think anything that got sacrificed were his tires, which he failed to keep
Cooked them
off the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
And, in the end, he had to pit. And I think, I don't know. I think, honestly, with Lando getting that win now,
Mm-hmm.
they're now equal on wins.
Mm-hmm.
Lando's been in a better car for longer, obviously given the time that, Lando was in a McLaren, straight away. George was in a Williams for 3 years. So I think it's slightly unfair to compare like podiums, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. How many, let's say, other than the first season where I think he drove well, let's not, I think he drove well, Mr. Consistent, we're not going to take that away from him. But even in that season, there were a couple of times where the errors were unforced and so forth. Last season, I think he got his arse handed to him by Lewis, and I think we saw cracks in that and a lot more unforced errors. Obviously, he started this season slightly better than Lewis, but I think Lewis has started to come back at him, especially in race. I think in qualifying, George, I think it's pretty safe to say, has the beating of Lewis at the moment, for various reasons. We know Lewis is still running kind of like extreme setups and this, that, and the other. But I'm looking at race pace, and George is just nowhere. And, there's been a couple of nowhere races for him. recently. And I don't know, I just feel as if I'm not looking at a driver that is supposed to be world champion material. I'm not looking at a driver who could lead the Mercedes team. I'll be honest. If Mercedes go into 2025 with George Russell and Kimi Antonelli, Dios mío,
Good luck.
Hey, look.
Best of luck to them, man. Yeah, because it's gonna be Williams to the sequel, basically. Like that's
honestly, like that is not. I mean, it's scary. Not for us.
Not for us. Y'all be safe though.
Y'all be safe. You know that meme where the guy's got that little pup and he's like, he's trying to make that dog look mean. I don't know. I just don't. Yeah. I do worry for Mercedes in that regard if they don't secure Verstappen for 2026 or 2025. I mean, and that's what the rumors are. Like, would he leave at the end of this year and go to Mercedes for next year? And I think it would be so interesting if he does. I guess I wanted to ask you. Lewis admitted this weekend that he's still helping with the development of the 2025 car. Thoughts on that?
I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what that says about Mercedes. And like you said, George, more to that point, because like he's supposed to be the leader of the team. And, everybody's been asking like, when is Mercedes going to cut off Lewis, for next year's car? Because obviously they don't want him to know anything, but I don't know if there's anything worth taking to Ferrari, I mean,
bag of shite.
So, again, I'm like, what is this saying about Mercedes? It feels like desperation. You know what I mean? Like, that's just wild to me that somebody leaving who typically in this position, you wouldn't want them to have any involvement in the next year's car that they won't even be sitting in. And now you're saying basically you're using his expertise to help develop the car. Is crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, Tasha, it is insane. I'll give you a parallel. Adrian Newey, okay, was on an interview with Eddie Jordan complaining that Red Bull brought him all the way to Miami and had him run strategy.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even put him in meetings to do with the car.
Right.
This year's car, he said. Now, they've clarified it and said, no, he was in meetings for the car. But obviously, for next year's car, of course, he's not going to be allowed to be in there because he could be taking intellectual property to other teams. What kind of organization? I don't care if Lewis Hamilton is the nicest guy in the world. I don't care if he's the smartest guy in the world. I don't even care if like the length of service he has. What organization is allowing a man who is going to one of your closest competitors to just sit in your meeting? Of course Lewis is going to stay around. Are you stupid? Guys, you really want me to stay around? Oh, chucks, okay, I'll just stay here and absorb all this information about next year's car and, take it to Ferrari. Hey, this is what they're doing. Don't do that.
Don't do none of this shit.
Don't do none of this. Because this is a bag of shite. I just don't.
It's wild.
I really do think, like, if that 2026 car is not an absolute rocket, that organization is finished. I'm just look. Even the strategy they ran with George today, like, what is that? Like, well, you're not helped by the driver that you've got in there. I guess you're having to do that. So, and the driver is part of the team. But I guess, do you have any optimism for Mercedes?
None. Honestly, I'm looking at this. I'm like, this looks dire. Like straight up, like I think altogether, like the different areas, like you have Toto, who you can't trust the word he says. But then you have him saying like, oh, we want to bring in Kimi, who's very young. And maybe, he'll come in and he'll be exciting and bring this fresh energy. But like, then you have the issue of the car, which they have there now. ex-driver developing, so it's like, it just feels like a big mess. They have engineers, they're hemorrhaging engineers, and nothing really feels stable right now at that team. Like everything feels like very like treading water. Like on the surface, everybody looks calm, but underneath it's just like a lot of chaos. And I think once Lewis leaves, I really do think that we're gonna start to see the cracks really start to show on the team.
I'm gonna have to have some wine now. That is stressing me out. Shout out the listener that hates me drinking out that wine glass. I deliberately chose that. Specific. I was like, I had the nice wine glass, and I was like, you know what? I'm drinking out of the £1.50 wine glass I got from down the road. Yeah. It's just, you know what? Cheers.
It has a breathe.
Yeah, you gotta
nice open, like full body red.
Yeah, no, I'm really getting notes of Australian wolf in there. Austrian, sorry. Tears. God, no, and it's interesting. I think what was really cool about this weekend was seeing the reaction of the Ferrari fans for Lewis. I think we got a taste of what is possibly going to be there in Monza for him. I'm sure he has got that kind of noted out in his calendar. The Monza crowd, or also the Emilia Romagna crowd, were incredible. On a scale of 1 to 10, how ready are you for the Lewis to Ferrari?
1,000. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah.
It's just energy, right? Like, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen when he gets in that seat. I don't know. I'm hoping he'll be able to, do what we're all expecting, drive that car like a bat out of hell, hopefully. But I don't know. But in general, I'm just excited for the energy. Fred wants him there. John Elkann wants him there. Like, like it's such a stark contrast where he's at now, where it's like, take it or leave it. We can take it, Lewis, or leave it. And it's like, okay, and you're going to reap everything that you sow. But yeah, it's exciting to see that the fans are embracing him, because that was the big thing. Like, are the Tifosi going to accept Lewis Hamilton? They got him on posters looking like Jesus, like.
Yo, that was hilarious.
With the middle part bust down.
God. Yeah, like 38-inch. Oh my God. No.
I can't wait.
Look, I thought that was incredible.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was the episode with you and Eliza, or it was the episode that I did with Abby. But there was, I think, a really good point. I think it was off camera, me and Abby were talking about, and I only mention this because of, seeing the Ferrari fans' reaction to Lewis, and all the positive noise coming out of Ferrari for, about Lewis, from John Elkann, from Fred. The Mercedes WhatsApp event in New York?
Right, yeah.
It almost felt as if like it was like here y'all go, have that.
Right, like, here, damn.
Yeah, here, like, when that like NBA wife just like showing the phone, like.
Yeah. Oh, la la. It's like, your son wants to see you.
Son wants to speak to you. The sponsors want to see you. Just
right here. Yeah.
So I feel like, and they just have him like roaming around the Empire State Building, like, oh, it's King Kong,
pushing buttons and shit. Yeah. What's this lever do? Pull the lever.
Yeah. And I think, I think he just speaks to some of the the lack of direction in every. You've got Lewis Hamilton in New York City. God damn it! Like, man, the possibilities were so endless.
Yeah.
You've got one more year left of him. As Cameron said, you've wasted 3 prime years of Lewis Hamilton, but please believe they've milked every last bit of marketing dollar out of him. And this year, film was strangely silent. Like, you know, hardly anything on socials.
Yeah.
It is a very cold divorce. So to go back to that, for them to have him around in engineering meetings, it just doesn't make sense in the slightest. I find that to be an egregious level of malpractice.
Yeah.
I don't understand. But anyway.
I can't wrap my head around it either. Strange.
That's neither here nor there. Look, anyway, let's get into our stars of the day and docket of the day. This is where we choose drivers who we think are drivers or things that have done well, have stood out. Tasha, as the guest, you can go first.
I'm gonna do a little curveball this weekend, and I want to give my star to Yuki. I feel like he had a great weekend. Just cooked all weekend. He secured the last point. I mean, not a huge haul for RB, but he did what he needed to do. He had some of like the 2 like best overtakes on track, which was hard to do in this track, in the circuit. So yeah, to see him be able to overtake 2 people very like aggressively, very confidently, like that was just good to see. And
I loved it. Sorry, what is the BBL Yuki?
Because I've been going around singing BBL Yuki all. I've just been remixing people's names into that song, like BBL Yuki. Yeah. So anyway, that's why Christopher had to put that in the chat.
She a fan.
Right? Oh my God.
No.
This always goes off track.
BBL. For those who don't know, we're going to listen to Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, and you will be able to get the references. Yuki Tsunoda, look, what more does he need to do? You know what Yuki season this season is reminding me of? It's reminding me of Pierre Gasly 2021 when he was in the Alpha Tauri, as they were called back then. Consistently in the points, consistently in Q3. Charles Leclerc's debut season when he was in Sauber, consistently getting these results. This is all you can do as a driver driving a car which is not a great car. Consistently put in good performance and consistently beat your teammate. Where did Daniel Ricciardo finish this weekend? 13th. Finished.
And this is one of his better weekends, by the way.
Don't care. Finished. Like, at what point? At what point do we just say, you know what? This guy, like, people are like, oh my God, Daniel Ricciardo, 2018 Daniel Ricciardo. That was 6 years ago. 6 years. Do you know what? How different was your life 6 years ago?
Yeah, 6 minutes ago, my life was.
Look, let me tell you right now.
You know what I mean?
6 minutes ago, I didn't even know who BBL Yuki was. Now I do. Like,
thicker than a sticker.
What's wrong with you?
How much time do you have? So much.
So much time.
So much.
So I find it hilarious that Daniel Ricciardo could even be remotely mentioned for the second seat at Red Bull, and Yuki isn't, which is fair, okay? You need someone, if they're planning for life with Max Verstappen, do you really want to feed Yuki to the wolves? Is he going to do that much better a job than Sergio Perez?
Right.
I guess you never know until they're in there. But Daniel Ricciardo definitely isn't going to do as good a job as Yuki Tsunoda would. And if you're looking at a world without Max Verstappen, then obviously, again, Yuki Tsunoda probably isn't the guy for that. They're looking at Carlos Sainz, but again...
Good luck with that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you mean it's scary for you, not for me? So, pardon me, I don't know, like... I just want there to be a respect on Yuki Tsunoda's name, and I think we're gradually starting to get that right, and I think it's a great choice you put because he is someone that I think you look at Yuki's journey in F1. I think by all admissions he could have been chucked out after the first year.
Right.
Luckily, I think the Honda backing has helped him a lot. And look, we're looking at Honda becoming essentially a works team with Aston Martin in 20. Is it next year?
26.
26, of course. Engine regulations. Yeah. So, like, who knows? Is Lance Stroll still going to be up for the fight? And look, Lance Stroll brought it in this weekend, 9th place. We can't. I mean, yeah, well done to Lance. So, I think it would be a shame to use Yuki from the sport, and I think because he's there on merit right now, and I think his maturation, his growing fan base, his influence, in Asia and around the world, and people. We want a sport which has characters, and he's a character, and and I think he's been able to. It's hard when you're growing up in front of the world, and all of your radios from like the most heated moments within the car, your adrenaline's going, your job is on the line, your career's on the line, you're trying to make a name for yourself, and you've got a microphone in your ear, and of course you're gonna. Not everyone's going to be perfect. Look at Max Verstappen, for God's sake. Like, for some reason, Max's expletives, as he was coming up, were, kind of celebrated and revered. And, with Yuki, it was almost kind of like, they kind of had to squash that out of him. And I'm glad that the talent is now being spoken about more than his the I guess the more negative parts of his personality.
Yeah. I agree.
Good choice. My star of the day. Star of the day. I mean,
listen, stuff out here. Are you about to do what I think you're about to do?
Yours wasn't even left field. I mean, you know what? Let's talk about Oscar Piastri.
Yeah. Let's.
I did not watch the race on Sunday. I actually was exclusively on. Yeah, obviously, just. There's a. So I don't even know if anyway. There's a Conor McGregor. There was a period where Conor McGregor was just like doing like A-balling like the most vegan cocaine on the planet. You know the cocaine that James Allison was smuggling in that nose cone? And I was watching a 14-minute YouTube of when he was just going on Twitter voice notes, and he was just rambling, and I guess an interpretation of what I was doing. There's like a bit where he's just like, Inshallah, my Lord.
Wow.
Oh my God. But that's what I was like. Is
that what you were doing?
Like, grasping at any religion, please.
Can anybody hear me?
Anybody, somebody out there. So praying aside, on Saturday, Sunday, I wasn't even looking at the Quickstep account, but I would see certain F1 tweets, and I'm seeing a conversation around Oscar, his second stint, especially, I'm taking not the strongest stint. Do you think that I guess there seems to be a criticism of Oscar that his race pace, he's got it almost like, I don't want to say like Charles Leclerc, because Charles Leclerc does have race pace as well, but there's this, lightning quick pace over one lap. He's able to extract an incredible amount of pace. And I think this season, I think you'd be a fool to bet against him getting a pole position at some point this season. I think that's on the cards. It's going to happen. But in the races, he does tend to struggle, and his pace compared to Lando is never really on par. I guess, do you think it's a fair criticism of Oscar? Do you think it's over the top? I guess, how do you judge Oscar Piastri as a driver right now?
I judge him, I don't know. I feel like he won, again, keeping in mind that he's new to all of this. He's never been to, he's been to most of these tracks before for the first time, like as he's driving them. I know this is maybe the exception. He mentioned like coming here before briefly for something, but
like for testing,
yeah. But I don't know. Like I feel like he's a very high level driver. Like unlike the other rookies that came in, that kind of like came and went. Like Logan Sargent has been nowhere this entire time. I think Oscar, what I like about him is that you actually do see that he has like these like flashes of potential. And I think his problem is just sustainability. Like, the first part of his race, he's always like super quick, super fast. But like, in this race, for example, he's trying to catch up to Carlos Sainz for like, I don't know how many laps, like 20 something over, absolutely like destroying his tires in the process. And so it's like, I think for me, it's just going to be a time thing in terms of like him learning how to balance some of these attributes as a race driver. I don't know if that answers your question, but
No.
I guess I just feel like he's shown a lot more potential than people who are his contemporaries. And I feel like he just needs time to like work out how to actually get through a race without, you know what I mean? Like being so overly eager at the beginning. And I think even he knows this as well. So something he has to work on, but
yeah. I think I agree. It's almost as if we expect all rookies to come out of the gate and they're going to be a Lewis Hamilton. They're going to be a Max Verstappen. They're going to be, the greats that we've seen in the past. The greats are the greats for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's not normal to come out of the gate and have a handle on all things F1 out of the gate. Like, that is extraordinary. And only extraordinary people get to that point at extraordinary speeds. And I think that we're looking at a guy in his second season who is consistently extracting the most out of his car. I'll put it to you like this. If Oscar Piastri was doing what Sergio Perez was doing, we almost wouldn't bat an eyelid, because, like, you know what? You're in your second season, but this guy's outperforming people who are more experienced than him in cars which they've been more used to and spent more time in.
Right.
Does he have a handle on the tires at the moment? Probably not.
Not yet, yeah.
But then we've just had a conversation about George Russell, who's been in the sport since when? 2018?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a given that you ever really have a handle on the tires, right? And we get it in for his race pace and so forth. And I just think, not too long ago we were getting at Lando Norris. Why? Because of his mental preparation and side of things. Can he be more of a glass half full, more than a glass half empty kind of guy? Can he start to think of himself as one of the upper echelon drivers and start to act like that? Manifest pray to 10 different people and get that first
Light
race
them
win.
incense, yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Light them incense, light them candles.
Make that
Do you know what I
altar.
mean?
You never know who you...
Do you know, like, just kiss
in
your
there.
little baby Hamilton with his 38-inch bust down. Dios mío. Like, so I don't know, like, I find the criticism of him really harsh. This kid is a talent.
Yeah.
Whether he's generational or not, we'll see. But I want to give my star of the day to him because he could have put it on pole, should have put it on pole, but still a great performance. I think he drove well enough in the race. And I think people should get off his back, man. I think he's I think he's an incredible talent. And I think he needs to be respected as such. Now look, it's come to the. Sorry, did you have something else?
I was gonna say, for me, I just kept thinking like it factor when it comes to Oscar, like it's an unexplainable thing, like that makes people, I think, look to him as somebody who's like has that high potential. It's just an unexplainable thing. Like there is an it factor to him. So I think some people see the praise of him as people are overrating him. You know what I mean? Whereas I feel like a lot of people are trying to be balanced. Like he does really well at certain aspects of, the drive, his race, but there's a lot he can improve on. And he also says this. He says this all the time. I can probably work on that. So he learns fast. Last season, like I said, all those tracks he raced at, that was like the first time he was learning on the sim, and then he would come out and do, amazing performances, especially when the car was getting, better and better. So yeah, for me, it's just like, I think it's just one of those sit back and watch sort of what happens things. Cause I think he is going to be very, very high level. But right now it's just like, at least he has that, he's not flunking out. Like he's not a Logan Sargent, and he could be. And I think I'm more grateful for that, to see somebody young and eager and, talented actually able to do that.
No, 100%.
Be talented, yeah.
I'm going to give you a round of applause. What a lovely, lovely soliloquy. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, no, I didn't mean to give this sarcastic one. So, I haven't used this sound effect for a while.
Hee-haw, hee-haw, you stupid motherfucker, are you dumb?
It's time for Donkey of the Day.
Yeah.
So, there's two people who are vying for Donkey of the Day. But you know what? I would be amiss if I didn't choose mi compadre. Mijo. Fernando. Fernando.
Yeah.
Oh, there's nothing better. Let me tell you right now. There's nothing better than seeing someone complain for no reason, get hit with the worst weekend of their life on Jesus Christ in them. I swear to God.
All weekend
I've never seen karma come around for someone so quick and so swiftly than Fernando Alonso this weekend.
Yeah.
This has been quite possibly the worst driving I've seen from Fernando Alonso and the worst luck I've seen for Fernando Alonso.
Yeah.
Probably, since the McLaren days, like the first McLaren, but even then, that wasn't even his fault. The car was just rubbish. But, oh, wow. He was in that gravel pit like they were best mates.
I missed you.
Yeah, just like,
how you been, girl?
Been a minute.
Yeah, weren't here last year. I missed you.
Go home, Roger. driver errors. He just never had a handle on that car at all. And Fernando in the end rocked up in 19th. So yeah, and he had a bit of a recovery drive. Oh yeah, because of the grid play. I mean, like either way, he was like really going for the fastest lap. He didn't even get the fastest lap. You know, you try to. Well, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna. Just for you as well. It's slipping away from me. Yeah. Like he really did. Like he looked every inch of 40 plus this weekend.
Yeah.
Like, and for Lance to dunk it on you. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Thoughts on Fernando Alonso's weekend?
No, this was the weekend that he deserved. I'm sorry. Like, this is what you get. I don't know. I don't know. This is an upgraded Aston. They had upgrades this weekend, which, was kind of dicey for both of them. And yeah, but it was the amount of like errors for him. And it was just like, where is this coming from? Like, is everything okay at home? Are you all right? Like, what's going on? So, it was gratifying though to see because he loves to run his mouth. And if you drove more than you ran your mouth, maybe you wouldn't be in the gravel. I don't know.
This guy, Fernando Alonso reminds me of, I'm not gonna lie to you. Fernando Alonso is like Homelander, bro. I'm telling you now. He's there on his pulpit like, they're persecuting me because I'm Spanish, but I'm better than you. I'm tired of saying I'm not better than you. I'm Spanish. I'm persecuted. No, you're not, bro.
No, you're not.
No, you're not. And like, at what point do you become this elder statesman that, like, yes, we want you to speak your mind. We want you to be Fernando Alonso. But at what point do you like this, like, persecution angle that he's had since the day he came into the sport is tiring, bro. Like, you are not persecuted. In fact, you have been playing a game of silly buggers with the FIA since you came back into the sport.
Hugged up with Ben.
Hugged up with Ben. I've seen you cut chicanes on purpose. Yeah. I've seen you like literally break rules to see if they can be broken. No one's persecuting you, brother.
Yeah.
Relax. Like, I don't want to get into it, but some of us could tell you about persecution.
Right.
You can't. Respectfully. That's all I've got to say on Fernando. I enjoyed. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But
we left there with something.
Yeah, we got something. But what I would say is it says a lot about Fernando that it was just so out of character.
Yeah.
Like, like it was just like, what are we watching? Like, what is going on here? So I'm sure the next race will be dunking a second on Lance as usual, and nothing will change. But I did enjoy it this weekend.
You did enjoy, yeah.
Your donkey of the day, please.
I mean, I'm just gonna give it to Perez. Honestly,
yeah,
he deserved it. I mean, going long strategy, fine, but then like finding the gravel for what, like. He just irritates me. I'm sorry. Like, he's the one driver who I feel like at this point, you're just irritating my soul. You had no business even qualifying 11th. You know what I mean? In the first place. So there's that. I'm already irritated because of that. And then you didn't do anything in the race, which, we always knew it was going to be hard because it's a hard race or a hard track to overtake, whatever. But he just did nothing. Getting overtaken by George, overtaken by Lewis at some point. Like, is everything okay at home?
What the wow. Wow.
Yeah, questionable. But,
that's not for us to speculate on. Okay,
He irritates me. I'm sorry. I love Checo's fans. I love you guys are all lit, but him, like, not so much. Not so much.
He's not great, is he?
No, and he's just getting worse every single. I'm like,
he's not great.
Why are you putting yourself through this? It's kind of embarrassing.
You know what? And the mad thing is they're not giving him a new contract because they're like, we want to see how you do it. And he's just getting worse and worse, bro. Like he's crumbling under the pressure. I don't know
Round
what
7.
happened. Bro, like it's not good. I'll tell you that for free. It's not good. Like, and I think I saw a YouTube comment like, oh, I shouldn't have said like, apologies.
Not Grammarly. The grammar police are in the building.
Please enunciate yourself properly. I saw a comment that said, why are we pushing for Sergio Perez to be out of the Red Bull seat? And I think I've seen Valtteri Bottas hounded out of a Mercedes seat for a lot less than I'm seeing from Valtteri Bottas. In fact, I've seen Alex Albon hounded out of a Red Bull seat for less than the performances of Bottas recently. And look, there were the podiums. When that car was a clear rocket and ahead of everyone else, you're seeing the value in Sergio Perez. Yeah, cool. He'll bring it home in second. When we're seeing all of the cars a lot closer together, which is what I've said consistently. If the cars are close together, those first 4 cars, you cannot have Max Verstappen in first and Sergio Perez in 8th. That is an abomination. That cannot run in any circumstance. I can't believe that I just, honestly, it's poor, man. Like, it is, you cannot have that gap to your teammate in the same car. And all of you people thinking it's a different car. No, it's a different driver. And that driver's cheeks. Oh my God. Like, I'm tired. Like, honestly,
The excuses are lame.
We can't keep giving excuses to this guy. This guy's an experienced F1 driver. He is, you know, he is not a Logan Sargent. He is, you know, he's not, we're not talking about someone who's a bad driver, but we are talking about someone who, at the sharp end of the grid, has been found wanting again and again and again and again. And I think in a season where, man, imagine if there was someone even capable of taking the fight to Max Verstappen in the same car. It's like, if a McLaren is breathing down Max's neck and is within a second of him at the end of the race, where the hell is the second Red Bull car? Like,
where you at?
Imagine the season we could be having. That's why I want him out of the car, because he's deriving us of entertainment, bro.
He's useless. I just leave the car in the garage every weekend. Save the engine. Like, what's the point of even starting that thing? Like, that's
give it to one of them little grid kids that are around for the national anthem, bro.
Right.
Put a helmet on them, get them in them overalls and just put them in the car. Get your ass in that car. Honestly, it's so bad.
That's where I'm at. I'm just bored. He bores me, and I just...
Yeah.
He doesn't even have a good personality, like nothing. It's just like, ugh.
No, it's not great.
Bore somebody else. Get out there.
It's not great. All right. Well, look, let's read out some tweets. I'm sure there's some entertaining ones here. I'm going to read out at Original JCL, Dutty Bookman. Lando's the star for me. Donkey is George for asking for the switch with Lewis, then saying he's not going to sulk over losing P6 in the post-race interview. Not a real talking point per se, but Alonso P19 cracks me up. He really tried to act like he was not bothered, and he was
so bothered.
He was indeed bothered, wasn't he? Do you have a tweet?
Yeah, I'm gonna read Sess at Varmelton said their star is Max because he saved me from another Norris win. Donkey is Perez. And they also said Russell trying to get P6 back from Hamilton as if it wasn't his fault he had to pit. Lando bottling under pressure once again. And whatever on earth Alonso had going on.
Yeah. God, there's so many. Here's a good point. I haven't even addressed this yet. Anthony Man United at Anthony Man United. Roll on Monaco. Laughing emoji. Bring back Turkey, Malaysia, Portugal with the long straight would have been better than Imola. Monaco coming up. So I want to talk about this. Recently, I just on a random day just thought, you know what? Let me just see what everyone else is saying. And I tweeted and I asked, what track would you get rid of if you can get rid of one track?
Yeah.
And why? I said Monaco. Oh my God. I've just gone back to this tweet now. 238 retweets, of which a lot are quote tweets. I'm going to read out some of the best ones. At Domenico Marino, just unfollow. Nobody needs this podcast anymore.
Oh, tough crowd.
That's the tough crowd. Layla Masmich, just say why oh why, I think they meant you, are stupid and go.
Oh my.
Yeah, no, they're not happy. Let's go.
Monaco has some shooters.
Yeah. Here we go. There's here we go. Hold on. Oh, here we go. This is a good one. At WS7F1, Will, shout out to Will. I'll start Quick Stop F1 podcast. We don't need it anymore.
He said, free us of this podcast. Damn.
Like, oh, what do they fuck me for? Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. That I didn't know Monaco had that many shooters.
Right.
I'm not gonna.
It's a tourism board, all up in your mentions.
Yeah. You know, it's bad when people are cussing you out in different languages.
Oh yeah, you gotta hit that translate.
Yeah. I gotta hit translate to see the mean things people are saying about me. Tasha, your thoughts on Monaco?
I don't care. It's boring. I'm sorry. The qualifying is great. I mean, that's kind of the consensus, but yeah, it's boring. I mean, right now, a lot of these tracks for these cars just aren't giving the show that, you're hoping for. And unfortunately, I don't think it's fair that fans can't critique that. We're not making the schedule. So when we get there and it's basically just a procession or a parade, what am I supposed to say? It's not boring? It is. And it's going to be all right. This is a city full of millionaires and billionaires. They're going to be all right. If Tasha and Nyasha think it's boring, you know what I'm saying?
Protect the heritage. What about the heritage? What are we going to do with the heritage? Bore off. Even F1 wanted them things gone, bro. They were flirting with not having it.
Boring.
It's boring. I do you know what? Yeah, I tell you what. Of course, I respect F1 culture. I respect F1 heritage, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there are things that were F1 heritage that have gone that we don't miss anymore. Hockenheim, gone. Friggin', there's classic tracks which are not there. Nürburgring, we don't race around the Nürburgring anymore. We don't race around so many tracks which, you would consider heritage. And look, I get it. Monaco, Silverstone, Monza. I mean, at one point people would have said Spa, but that's, teetering with not being there anymore. Those, I would say, are, you're looking at heritage tracks. And obviously you've got the Triple Crown with the Indy 500 and the Le Mans with Monaco. So, if you take Monaco out of that, you're almost kind of deleting, a piece of history that someone can make. it's not fit for purpose. Like, it's not fit for purpose. And the reason I say get rid of it is because if we're going to do 24, 25 races a year, why are we going around Monaco? Yes, qualifying is incredible. The race is such a snooze fest. And you're just waiting for someone to crash. And that's not a nice thing to be, although we did open this podcast hoping someone would crash this race. However, crashing in Monaco, is a different thing. So I think those are my thoughts. Anyway, I just wanted to read out some of the lovely feedback that we got on Monaco.
That's lovely constructive criticism.
I love it. Please give us constructive. If you've got constructive criticism on our tweets, the way we talk, how much we gargle Max Verstappen's balls on the podcast, all of that, please let us know, and we're happy to take that on board.
Yes. But also at least make sure you're subscribed first.
Please, subscribers only. In fact, if you're not subscribed, you can actually do one. Tasha, do you have any more tweets you want to read?
Let's see. I think I'm gonna read Jazra at Jazra 300. Star McLaren for absolutely smashing it this year. Hopefully Oscar can start reaping the benefits. Donkey, Alonso, Perez, and Toto Wolff. And then Monaco and Imola competing for the battle of mid as their talking point.
And look, the last one I'll read out, Annalisa Mangwane. Annalisa, star of the day, Max, which is fair. Dog of the day, Perez. Talking points, I don't know. Nothing happened today. And I think that pretty much sums it up. Chris does say, imagine a sprint race around Monaco, it would be 30 laps of what we see in 70 laps. So
don't give Stefano any ideas, by the way, because he absolutely would do that.
You know them cars that they take the drivers around and they're like waving on them, like the old
classic cars.
Race them in them things there, bro. Just have like a fucking
crank up the engines and let them go.
Like doing.
You see George in that classic car with the like goggles and the like.
Oh mate, he would be living in make him race in his little pinstripe double-breasted suit. He'd love it, bro.
Little seersucker, yeah.
Right, that is it. Tasha, you've been an incredible guest as always. Thank you for coming on. Round of applause for you. Where can people find you?
With the rest of the riffraff on Twitter at Tasha T4SH4 3_. Yeah, that's where I'll be.
At what point are you gonna change that username?
I don't even know. I get so pissed because I just want Tasha. I just want it to be Tasha.
Wow,
but so many people who are named Natasha use my name all over the internet and take the damn handles that I need. I was born Tasha. I'm just Tasha, you know?
There's someone with the Nyasha thing. I don't even think... You know what? And they didn't use it for ages.
Sitting on
it. And then I tweeted them like, yo, I need this username. And they started freaking... now they're active. Now they're active.
They don't want you to have it.
Oh, look, I'm telling you, at some point, I'm approaching this.
We need to start a GoFundMe campaign. Get our handles.
I'm buying this app. Yeah. Like I've got to be the most famous Nyasha in the world. Like I'm like
hands
surely,
down. Yeah,
hands down. Show me a more famous Nyasha. Actually, I feel like there might be like football players and shit. But even then,
right?
Surely. So I need that username. But anyway, you can follow Tasha at her ridiculously complicated username. Thank you guys for watching. If you've watched this far, thank you. Make sure you're giving us a like and a subscribe if you're subscribing. If you're watching on Spotify, give us a 5-star rating. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review. It super helps with the algorithm. And if you are wanting to support the channel, ad-free stream on the Patreon. We'll be back for the most exciting qualifying of the year.
Don't jinx it. Oh, God.
On Saturday. For the Saturday show. I'm actually at a wedding. Well, I'm not at a wedding. I'm at a reception. So I might actually come on the podcast in my wedding because I've got to go straight from the podcast to... So you might get... Yeah, you might say, well, in my Monaco heritage drip.
Bring your wine glass.
Yeah. So we'll see you from Monaco. And remember, no matter what life throws at you, keep it on the black stuff. I love you. Mwah! What the fuck is that?
Fucking balloons. Every time I make a peace sign, they just like...
The balloons look, okay, sorry guys. There's people on the audio. I got this at the end of the audio and I was like, what are these two?
Left it. What a weirdo.
Like, what are these two talking about? Why are they balloons? So Tasha, when I said goodbye, balloons just kind of came up and I was like...
I kind of feel like Harry Potter. Every time I do it, it's like a celebration.
Does anything else come up? No? Just...
No.
Can I get...
Sign.
Can I
just
get
for me. Sorry.
Oh, what did you say fuck me for? Well, all right. Well, with that said, thank you guys. Take care and good night. Or good morning. Goodbye, for sure.
See ya.
Look, mate, if you've got this far, clearly you like what we do. So here's a link to subscribe to the Quickstop F1 family. Give that a click. And here's another link to some more cool on our channel. Sorry, cool stuff. And remember, no matter what happens, keep it on the black stuff. Click the stuff. Click the links. Click the links. Click the links. There. They're there.